Welcome to Deep Thought. Speak on what you know. Speak on what you know. Understand something. A lot of times people talk about things that they have no idea about. Like one of the things that I really dislike, and that's a strong word for me to say dislike, is when somebody will make a statement, but it's a statement that they got secondhand from someone else and they don't really have any knowledge behind it. They can't give you an explanation why they even made the statement. It's something like a lot of people will share like catchphrases or memes, and they'll say this and they'll talk about this, and I'll be like, okay, is that something that you experienced? Or are you just following some statement? A lot of people follow stuff without really knowing the origin of it. They'll say, don't do this or don't do that. And I'm just like, why would you say that? You know, why would you, what's your reasoning? Oh, somebody said it. Okay, what if that person was incorrect? You know, you can't go on always hearsay. Or just because someone said, even if they say it with authority, even if they're in a position of authority. Indeed, that's a big reason why propaganda works. You know, they'll say, this doctor said that this insect repellent will cure you of COVID. Yes, I'm going to use that example. And you're just like, okay. Is there proof of that? And just because a person's a doctor or say they're a doctor, they could have a PhD in some obscure discipline or something. They technically a doctor. Lawyers are technically doctors, juris doctors. They can easily, and I know of at least one attorney that before he passed the bar, he called himself doctor. And that's another thing too. Do you know what their exact qualifications are? And even then, you still don't know. See, the only way to know something is to experience it. Either experience it or eyewitness it. Which, indeed, if you eyewitnessing it, you're part of the event, so you're experiencing it. Something that was right there for you. Like, for example, people familiar with what I talk about on my relationship channel. I don't talk about anything I haven't either A, experienced or B, eyewitnessed, like I'm right there. Now, I've been told a lot of things, but I always take that with a grain of salt until I actually see it in action or I witnessed it in action. Even though people will say, well, yeah, I slept with this many women, or some women say, oh, yeah, I've always been a good one. I always take it with a grain of salt until I have a chance to witness them in action. Then I'll speak on it. But it's very rare I speak on something I don't know much about. And even if I do, I will say, you know what, I'm not that familiar with it. This is all I've heard about it, but I'm not sure. And I would specifically say I still have to investigate it. Indeed, I've had people ask me to talk about certain things, and I say I'm not familiar with that. And, I had one time somebody said that. They said, you don't know about that? I was like, I haven't seen that before. Indeed, I remember there was a detractor. I'll never forget this. This was on my Patreon. And he was talking about some rare type of shark. He said, I bet you don't know about that. And I was like, well, knowing about sharks has nothing to do with how I make my money or what I do in everyday life. And I'm not go any place where there's likely to be sharks on a consistent basis. So why would I know about that? I only keep information in my head that is relevant to my everyday life. And if it's something I need to learn, then I will get on a laptop, get some books and stuff and read about it. But my point is, talk about what you know. Speak on what you know. Like a lot of times people will challenge something only. Like they'll challenge certain statements and indeed, and I've seen this and I've witnessed this, somebody will say something and somebody will challenge it. And it was like, okay, do you know that's incorrect? It was like, no, it just don't feel right. Okay, but do you know that's incorrect? Did you investigate it? Like one of the things I do when someone speaks on something, if I've never heard about it before, I don't have a disagreement with it until I just take it into, all I do is just take in the information. And if it's significant enough, I explore it myself before I make a decision. I don't, just because somebody tell me something, I don't just go for it unless I have personal experience in the area they're talking about. I just take it in, and then I say, okay, I'll hold on to this until I get a chance to explore it, or I see something that corroborates what the person was talking about. So that's how I look at it. Now, overall, when I'm talking about people, comment on stuff like you've seen this. You've seen, at least witnessed it. You were in the event. This happened to you. But because then you got a better understanding. You speak with more authority. One of the things I hate to see is when someone speaks, but they just challenge it because maybe they don't like something about the speaker or the idea presented, or it makes them feel uncomfortable. Well, in that situation, let's say hypothetically it makes you feel uncomfortable. Why does it make you feel uncomfortable? Do you know why? You need to explore why. Because if you can't articulate, okay, why does this make you feel uncomfortable? And a lot of times it may not be what was said, but the person who said it. Like, and this is a tangent. Y'all know how I flow on here. Sometimes people will dislike what someone says just because they dislike the person. Then someone else will like it. Like, I'll use this example. Like on my men's channel, y'all know I got some detractors. Usually other men, non-select men. And I remember somebody showed me a screenshot. It was someone else that I'm acquainted with, was getting into it with somebody who had an issue with me. Yet the same person who had the issue with me liked Body Game, was a priest like that, but didn't like me personally. And then I thought about that. When I saw the screenshot, I said, I don't know this person. And that's it's like, well, why would you dislike someone you don't know? But accept the person's information. Think about that, But here's the thing. When you talk, when you take a stand on something, know what you're doing. Know it. Know why. Be able to articulate why you have a problem with this. Like if you were to ask me, well, why do you have an issue with such and such? Well, first of all, it would have to be an issue that I'm familiar with. Because if it's something, say, well, you're against this, I'm not familiar with that. I don't know. Because there's plenty of times I see somebody talking about some angle or something, and my reaction is just like, you know what, I've heard of that, but I don't have a personal experience. I never explored it. Let me get back to it. Now, if it's something that I know fully about and I have a reason for taking a stand against it or for it, I can talk for an hour why I stand for something or dislike it. I can break it down. And it wouldn't be just, I just don't like it. No, no. But when you talk, when you articulate, even when you write something, be able to back it up. Talk about what you know. Indeed, that's powerful. It's inspirational, and someone can learn something. See, actually, I like when people talk about things I don't know anything about. I love that because I don't know. And then I say, okay, let me explore it. And I've said that a few times. People will say something. I say, you know what? And you know what? There's been situations where I've seen either online or in the real world, somebody say, well, I dislike this thing. Somebody's talking about it. Somebody's against it. And I'll be neutral. I'll be like, okay, let me find out about it. And I'll get back to you, see where I stand on it. But in general, speak on what you know. Speak on what you know. Write about what you know, what you've experienced. Have a story. Let's put it like this. Here's a general rule. Whatever you speak on, you need to have at least a story behind it. Like, oh yeah, well, back then and this happened and everything. And that's legitimate because it's your experience. So, and that's a powerful thing. I want y'all to consider that. And not just like if you want to be some content creator or comment a lot, but just going through life. What you know is better. Okay? So anyway, that's all I got for now. I'll get back with y'all later. Peace and blessings.